2 of the same verse that was deliberated in the last live classroom. And verse number 27 and 28 are the beacons for the next chapter, chapter number 6 to begin. Last time we had concentrated upon the most encompassing essence of the word sparsh, which means the touch. Because this entire experience of the sensory organs, the sensory drivers, is driven through touch and feel. We generally understand in the parlance of common understanding that touch means whatever comes into contact of our skin, be it with hands or the entire body. But the essence which has encompassed, according to the great master of all times, Vedavyasa, sparsh is not confined to mere physical understanding. It exceeds, it goes beyond, and it would touch the dimension where anything that comes into contact of our experience, maybe in the understanding, maybe as an imagination or a thought or an urge, anything that you experience, that falls under the realms of touch. When you experience anything on your mental plane, that comes under the touch. And what he is trying to mention here, it's a reiteration of the last lecture. What he's trying to mention over here is try to relinquish all that falls under the ambit of touch. All that falls into the realms of the touch. Each and every experience should be left outside and devoid of any kind of an experience which falls under the touch. One has to focus between the two eyebrows. This part of the verse was left last time because last time we deliberated more upon to understand what is touch. At the same time, we also embarked upon the fact of 2 major currents that flow into our body in the pranic circuit of human body, the prana and the apana. The prana and the apana are the 2 major currents that regulate the life of a human. Prana means the moment we intake the breath, which acts as an ignition, acts as a fuel to the activity of the body, and all its elimination, excretion, whatever comes as an emanation out of it is under the apan category. Whatever you intake as a fuel is prana, whatever you excrete as an emanation, as an emittance, comes under the apana. Now, I would just utilize few more words to make understand what does chakshucha eva antare bhruvo tries to convey. The yogi here wants a common man to understand that unless the focus of attention happens, unless the focus of attention, because the world is a play, it's a gameplay of attention. Wherever your attention is there, happenings happen there. According to the great master, the yogic master Patanjali, he had said, Jaha Chit Vaha Pran, which means wherever you have your attention, wherever you focus your attention, all happenings start happening over there. And here, he is trying to draw, Muni Vedavyasa is trying to draw attention towards the focus of attention between the 2 eyebrows. Biologically, we understand that there exists a pineal gland that is born with a retina which is inverted inside, and it awakens the moment one undergoes a contemplation of light, as we are given to understand. And the same becomes a window to see that new world where the limitations of the naked eye to experience, the limitations of the tongue, the ears and the skin to experience the world outside do not exist. There is no contamination. Anything and everything that comes into experience through that driver, which we have termed as the third eye, comes in its entirety. You're able to see anything, you're able to perceive, you're able to understand any subject, any object, any person in its entirety. And that window has to open, and the efforts for that must be initiated. And that window opens when the body currents within, the one which is prana and the one with the exhalation that excretes the apana, when they come to a balance. Normally, unknowingly we experience the intake of the breath and the exhalation. The inhalation and the exhalation we experience, but unknowingly it all happens, although we experience. But we do not experience them with complete attention. Once your attention is assigned and attributed towards the breathing cycle of inhalation and exhalation, when it becomes a conscious act of breathing, when it becomes a conscious act of breathing with your attention focused right between the eyebrows, the center of the eyebrows we term as the third eye, then certain happenings start happening. Certain happenings start happening. It takes time. It takes time for any seeker to be able to become stationary in this endeavor. It does not happen overnight. It may take at least around 24 weeks before one can claim to have inched to certain extent into this voyage. This new voyage cannot be traversed instantaneously. You seek to arrive somewhere, wait for at least 24 weeks of all unsuccessful attempts that ultimately are going to mark their contribution of your becoming. This verse, I would reiterate the essence of it. It says, once you relinquish all kind of experience of touch outside, focus with all attentiveness in the middle of your eyebrows, automatically your prana and apan, the body currents that flow in as a fuel and excrete out as an emittance, they come to a balance where there is no other turbulence within your own physical dimension. And it also impacts, according to the special mention of Yogiraj Sanyal, one of the direct disciples of Lahari Mahashaya, who used to be present at his lotus feet every evening when Lahari Mahashaya used to give certain effulgence upon Bhagavad Gita to his chosen disciples. And according to Sanyal, Yogiraj Sanyal, if one is able to experience this practice on day-to-day basis, automatically one would feel one's own inner urges, one's own turbulent mind, one's own writing intellect, one's own drivers like having desires, fear, or anger or arrogance coming to a control, coming to a state of seizure. One can cease to experience these writing turbulent experiences within if one embarks upon to concentrate in the middle of the eyebrows. That is the understanding that has been bestowed by Yogiraj Sanyal. I am merely trying to make a mention of it because when I experience any single verse of Bhagavad Gita, I try to understand through the mentioning of several great masters. And at times it happens that one great master would impress or would leave such an indelible impression on the mind that I would certainly like to reiterate it and make it pertinent to make a mention of it. So therefore, Yogiraj Sanyal's point has to be brought to information that if one is able to experience this practice of trying to focus the attention in the middle of the eyebrows, automatically the body currents come to an equanimity. Automatically, one's own urges, intellect, and the mind comes to a seizure where it does not become a turbulent state, writing, conflicting, trying to disturb the entire existence of human being. One who seeks evolution, one who has prioritized evolution as a mandate for this life, whose primal objective has been ascertained to evolve, to touch the final evolution, to become an exalted being. For such who has prioritized the state of exalted being as his priority and objective of the life, this experience, this exercise, this practice will make him traverse into this voyage in gradual phases. That was enough for the day. We shall embark upon the verse number 29, which is the last one of the chapter, next classroom. And at December end, we are starting with the 6th chapter, And from there onwards, each verse we shall embark shall also have in support its own notes, so that sincere seekers can find an endorsement of the lecture into the notes as well. Till then, Om Shanti Shanti.